Hey everybody, it's Kyle Winn with Sage Realty. Today I'm bringing you your February 2021 market update for Riverside County. So February was a pretty active month, a little bit slower than January in terms of new listings, where we had a little over 3,000 in the month of February, which was down slightly from about 3,400 in January. Now that number might be a little bit different than my previous market update video from January, but some of these numbers tend to lag a little bit, so I'm giving you some updated numbers for January. Like I said, we're about 3,000 new listings for the month of February, down slightly from January at 3,400 and down even more from the previous February at over 3,900. Now the total active listings on the market were about 4,800, maybe almost 4,850 for the month of February, which was down slightly from January at about 5,200 and way down from February a year ago at over 14,000. In terms of closed listings, February was very similar to January. In February, we had a little over 2,700 closed listings, but in January, we had almost 2,800. Now, those are very similar, but they're also higher than the previous February at about 2,500. Now, just like we saw in my previous market update video for January, we're seeing a lot of the same trends. We're seeing a lot less active listings on the market than we did a year ago, but we're seeing more closed sales. This, combined with the average day on market of about 14 days for February, down slightly from January at 16 days and way down from the previous February at 40 days, this is creating a very competitive market for buyers. Very low inventory, but they're really taking advantage of these really low interest rates as well. So many of our clients, both buyers and sellers, frequently ask us for an explanation for this market. Why are there so many buyers and so few listings? Well, one of the main reasons is going to be mortgage interest rates. For the month of January, they were 2.74%, and February they were about 2.81%. Now these are national averages and those are very similar, but historically these are extremely low interest rates. Just looking back 1 year ago to February of 2020, they were at about 3.47%, and another year before that, February 2019, they were at about 4.37%. Now I'm going to give you some examples about why this makes such a big difference and why buyers are trying to take advantage of these low interest rates. Now just for fun, as an example, let's say a buyer was interested in a house that was listed at about $500,000. And let's assume they were going to put 20% down on that home and take out a mortgage of $400,000. Now if we go back to 2019, like I said, February 2019, we saw interest rates at about 4.37%. A few months later it got a little bit lower and it fluctuated a bit, but for example, let's just say this buyer, looking at this $500,000 house, taking out a $400,000 loan, got an interest rate of 4.25%. Now, if we just kind of make some assumptions about taxes and insurance and things like that, we might say that their payment would be about $2,500. Fast forward a couple years, let's say that same buyer was looking at that same house for $500,000, putting down 20%, taking out a $400,000 loan, making the same assumptions for taxes, insurance, and everything, but they got an interest rate of 2.75% instead of 4.25%. Their monthly payment would be about $2,175 versus $2,500. Now quickly, that's a savings of over $300 a month just based on that interest rate alone. Now I know you're thinking that didn't exactly answer the question about why there are so many buyers out there and at the same time why home prices are going up. Well, in that example real quick, the difference of a 4.25% interest rate on that $400,000 loan versus a 2.75% interest rate was over $300. Now you might be thinking, great, buyers are saving money every month. Why are home prices going up? Well, all these buyers, if they could afford the $2,500 a month, they can still afford that $2,500 a month. So what that means is that they can actually offer more for a house and take out a bigger loan to keep that monthly payment right where it was at that they were comfortable with in the first place. Now what that means is that instead of buying a $500,000 house, they can actually buy a $600,000 house, put 20% down on that at a 2.75% interest rate, and their payment is going to be about $2,500. That was the same as the $500,000 house putting down 20%, borrowing $400,000 at 4.25%, and a monthly payment of $2,500. So all these buyers out there, many of them are families, if they have a set budget for a monthly payment on a home, they can actually afford to buy a much more expensive house at this point with these lower interest rates and keep their payment right where they're at, wherever they're comfortable. So that's one of the big drivers of these increasing home values over the last year or two, and you'll see that in many places over the last 12 months, maybe 18 months, home values are worth at least 20% more in many areas, if not more. Well, that's all I have today for our February 2021 market update for Riverside County. Hopefully you found some of this information useful and maybe you learned something here today. But for all you sellers out there, this may not be a bad time for you to sell because, as I mentioned, home values are up at least 20% in most areas over the last year or two. And likewise for buyers, interest rates are extremely low, so it's very cheap to borrow money at this point. So if you're looking to buy a home and stay there for quite a while, it may not be a bad idea, but make sure you do have a really good realtor in your corner because it's very competitive buying a home right now, and that awesome realtor is going to really help your offer stand out and get accepted. Well, as always, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, comment, like, whatever you need to do so you can see my future videos about buying and selling real estate.